Andy, hello, hello. Headbangers Brew. If you don't know, you need to. Check it out. Best coffee on the planet. So, I am bringing you my record store day, April 2026 collection or purchases for today. Got out this morning. It was not a sure thing. Some record store days, I do my shopping online. If there's one or two, sometimes there's a shop about an hour and a half from me that sometimes they've got inventory the next day, and a lot of times I've gotten what I want from them. The closest record store to me is about 40 minutes away. So I decided this morning I'm going to go and support them, and there was enough on the list that I wanted to get. And so yeah, I got out and got up there. They opened up at 8 o'clock, and I think I got in line about 8:20, and didn't get into the shop until I think it was about 9:30, maybe a little bit past 9:30. So it was pretty slow moving, but um, it was all good. And yeah, actually grabbed a bunch that I wanted. Um, at the end of my video, I'll just throw out a few that I didn't get that I would have that potentially I would have liked to have gotten, but budget, didn't need to get everything. But the one that I had toyed with getting right from the get-go would have been in the front, probably in the first bin, was the Black Sabbath 7-star. That one I went back and forth on. I've got it on CD. I think I've got two different versions on the CD, and ultimately I decided not to. Well, flipping through the B's, I didn't see any there anyway, so I would imagine the store had some and they were snatched up. That was fine. I had no problem with that, because the one that I really wanted to get, and I didn't get the live Judas Priest last year. This one I did not want to pass up. It's the Painkiller tour, and I miss seeing Priest in New York when I lived up there on that tour. I ended up getting a bootleg VHS tape, and the audio was horrible, the visual was horrible, but it was great. It was filmed from up on the side back balcony, and but I could still get a feel for what I missed out on. So when I found out that they were releasing, this is from September 1990, I was like, oh, I've got to get it. And so any of you that have already looked at the track listing for this, I don't know if you noticed, but like I did, there's only 2 songs from Painkiller on here. They've got Between the Hammer and the Anvil and Leather Rebel. So out of the 10 songs, you got 2 from Painkiller, but the rest of the tracks are killer. Riding on the Wind, Grinder, Bloodstone, Better by You, Better Than Me, Hellbent for Leather, You Got Another Thing Coming, Green Manalishi. Just so this one was a no-brainer. Haven't opened any of these up yet, but this one's on a purple vinyl. I love that they stuck with that same design with the kind of montage of the different Priest characters or covers, and kind of hope that they continue with that in the future. Maybe we'll get another one next year, or who knows, maybe in the fall for Black Friday. Megadeth, Hidden Treasures. This one's the original EP, and then there's some Japanese only bonus tracks. Well, I got a bootleg of Hidden Treasures with the original cover. Actually, it was actually, I think it was with Vic with his hands. It's some nuclear kind of visual. I should have pulled out that one. But yeah, the bootleg sounds pretty good. It's got some additional, I think, not the ones that are on here. So we've got a radio edit, and then three demos that are added on to the original 6. I think there was originally 6 tracks. Diadems is on here. Problems, maybe it was 8. I'd have to go back. It's been a while since I've listened to the CD. Anyway, this one is purple and black splatter, and I believe this was capped at 6,500. So anybody out there, you should be able to find this one online. I know my buddy Tim said he wanted this one, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of places on Discogs and maybe eBay that will be selling it. So it's not too late. The Priest was capped at, I believe, 4,900. Let's see. Motorhead had two. Originally, I was only going to go for one of them. And the more I thought about it, I was like, the On Parole, I know that's pretty much Motorhead's first. It was released later. Record company originally didn't want to release it. It's early stuff. But this one is remixed by Steve Wilson from Porcupine Tree, and he's fantastic. He's great. That man works magic. He takes great classic bands and just tweaks, and he does all the 5.1 surround sound stuff. And I'm curious to hear what the old Motorhead's going to sound like with him kind of working his magic on their stuff. So this one's pressed on black and white marble. I could not find the number on how many were pressed for this one, so that may pop out there eventually on the internet, but right now I'm not seeing that. So this 2025 remix, and then come to find out, I think there's also maybe a 3 CD. Don't know if there's a DVD or Blu-ray of this, and a bunch of other tracks or versions of these tracks. I don't know. I mean, how many times can you hear of Motorhead and Iron Horse and City Kids and The Watcher? Because I know they've all shown up. This has been pressed in so many variants, so many different album covers, but this is the first time I've owned On Patrol. So getting that one, the live Lost Tapes was that one early on. I decided, yes, I am going to pick that one up. I have not been collecting all of those. The only other one that I own is Lost Tapes 5, which was live at Donington, and that was 2008. But this one, I'm curious to hear. I've never heard this particular live. This was Lemmy's birthday at the Whiskey a Go-Go, where Metallica did I guess they were like the opening band, and they all came out looking like Lemmy and did some Motorhead cover songs. And I've had that for years on CD. But part of me thinks that Lemmy and boys are probably fired up for this one. I'm hoping it'll be a good live recording of the band. 1995, and Mickey's the only original member from this version of the band that's still alive, but we've got two records, and this one is on crystal clear double vinyl, and 3,000 copies on this. It's a little bit more money than some of the other ones, but 2 records and a lower number of ones pressed. Okay, next up, this one, I could lie and say I didn't even know that this was going to be released on Record Store Day. It was not listed on the American lists. The only reason I knew that this was a thing was earlier today. I saw other people posting, and somebody posted this record, and I figured, that has to be somewhere in Europe. They must have, I know there's limited pressings outside of America, Canada, and I figured, okay, I didn't know that was being released, but lucky them. Didn't have any thought of actually coming across that here in the States. And so I'm flipping through the S's, and lo and behold, there's Saxon. And not only Saxon, but Music on Vinyl, which I love Music on Vinyl presses. And this is live in Germany in 1991. Another record, this, not like the On Patrol, but this one has been released before. I believe 1 or 2 different covers. This was originally released in, I wrote that down, 2013, and that was on Demon. I think it was released on CD. It was I believe the full show, all the tracks, and then it was released on record. But I think it was missing like 5 or 6 of the songs. And this is double vinyl, so it's got all the tracks that were on the original CD. So this is a limited pressing, like many of them are. And let's see, 1,500, and it looks like my number is 1,152. And this would be, I would imagine this would be a UK, with it being music on vinyl, UK press. So if you're a Saxon fan, you might want to hit the internet soon and see if you can track this down. Now, I don't know if I can catch it in the light right, but there's yeah, you can see it a little bit right there. There's the symbol that Saxon uses for their font for the S actually shows up there in the background. It's kind of a glossy, semi glossy cover. I don't know what the correct term for that would be, but really cool find. Was very happy to get that. And then the last one that this was another one, kind of like the Judas Priest. I had planned to walk out of the store with this. I did get the last copy when I was standing outside. I knew that there was, I believe, 3 or 4 left. By the time I got to it, there was just the one. This is a 5,000 print, crystal clear, and it is the Van Halen 5150 live in New Haven, 1986. And I wanted to grab this one because there's a bunch of, this is obviously when Sammy Hagar first came into the band, and there's a bunch of David Lee Roth era songs that are covered here, and potentially like Wild Thing. So they got a cover. There's Rock and Roll, which I'm not sure if that's a Sammy song or if they're covering Zeppelin, but I Can't Drive 55 from Sammy, guitar solo. But we got some Hagar stuff or David Lee Roth songs covered in there too. So I've been picking up most of everything, all the last few years, the represses and special editions of Van Halen. I have not gotten the 5150 set that came out recently, because I figured this would probably be all that I would need. I've already got 5150 on record. Okay, so some of the ones that I passed up, just I pretty much grabbed a lot of metal and hard rock, but there were some in some other genres. There was Mark Knopfler and Emmylou Harris album, All the Road Running, and that I believe was their first album together. I've never gotten that before. I do have a second album that they did, which was live. It's a CD and DVD, and it's fantastic music. They blended together so well together, and so I had thought about that, but that one was a little steep in price, and not that some of the ones that I got weren't, but I decided against that one. Was looking for the Meshuggah Destroy, Erase, Improve. They did not have that one. I probably would have grabbed it if they did. And then another one that I passed up that they did have in the store was Steely Dan, Alive in America. And not that I'm a huge Steely Dan fan, but I appreciate them. I've got most of their stuff on CD, and 1 or 2 on vinyl. But I've never gotten around to hearing Alive in America. And most of the reviews online are good for that album. That was, I believe, early 90s. And yeah, so I don't know. If I see it, I don't know that one will drop in price. Steely Dan represses are usually expensive, and the limited stuff usually disappears pretty quickly. But never know. Maybe somewhere online we'll sell it for a lower price, and I can grab it. But so, did you all hit the stores? Share what you got, share what you would have liked to have gotten, or share how much you hate Record Store Day. And I like so many things. There's good and bad with it. There's plenty of bad and aggravations, but if it's helping stores stay alive, I say keep it going. I miss the days of being able to go into a good heavy metal shop and go through just, if somebody were to come in here, go through shelves and shelves and bins of, just good hard rock, heavy metal. And most of the shops I go into nowadays, of course, you got a little bit of everything in there, but the hard rock and metal is want to keep the stores alive. So I say, let's keep it going. But again, I'll continue to go to, ones where I feel like there's something worth going to, and other years where I'm just going to stay home and sleep. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you got. Did you get any of the ones I got? Was there something I missed? If you're in another country and there was some stuff that I didn't mention, especially heavy metal stuff, maybe you got to get something that wasn't even available here in the States. So share that too. Thank you for watching. This has been Vinyl Vengeance. I am Tim Eaton. If you wouldn't mind just liking the video, that's much appreciated. And till next time, God bless. Have a good night.